Payday used to be the one reliable thing in my life. Not exciting, not glamorous, just dependable. The kind of dependable that keeps your mortgage quiet and your fridge full. So when I woke up, grabbed my phone and saw my bank balance sitting at $0, I didn't panic at first. I refreshed the app. Same number. I checked again like my finger could bully reality into behaving. Nothing. And then my stomach dropped because my brain did the math faster than my emotions. It was payday. My paycheck was supposed to hit at midnight. I opened my transaction list. Rent autopay pending. Electric bill scheduled. Gas yesterday. And my paycheck gone. Like it never existed. I sat on the edge of my bed, suddenly wide awake, listening to my house breathe. Heat clicking on, pipes settling, while my brain tried to figure out how you lose a month of pay without noticing. I called my bank first. The rep asked me to verify my identity, then said, I don't see a deposit today. That didn't make me feel better. It made me feel worse. Because if it wasn't in my bank, where was it? I got dressed, drove to work, and went straight to payroll before I even sat down at my desk. It was early. The office still had that sleepy coffee and printers smell. A few people were walking in with travel mugs, acting like money hadn't just vanished from the universe. At the payroll window, a guy with a calm face and a lanyard that said Devin looked up. "Hey," he said, "and can I help you?" "My paycheck didn't deposit," I said, keeping my voice steady. "It's been weeks like this." He blinked. "Weeks?" I nodded. I thought it was a bank glitch at first. Then it was maybe the holiday. Then it was maybe payroll is behind. But today made it obvious. Devin turned his monitor toward himself and started typing. Click, click, click. "Okay," he said, tone neutral. "Or let me check your payroll history." He didn't even finish the sentence before he frowned slightly. "It shows deposited," he said. My heart thudded. "Deposited where?" Devin clicked again, then froze for a second. Not dramatic, just the kind of pause that tells you the answer is ugly. "Do you see this?" he asked, more to himself than to me. Then he looked up. "Your direct deposit account was changed," he said. I stared at him. "No, it wasn't." He nodded slowly. "It was. So 4 weeks ago." I felt heat rise in my face. "I never changed anything," I said. "I didn't even log into the portal." Devin didn't argue. He just opened a screen and angled it slightly so I could see the last 4 digits of the account number. It wasn't mine, not even close. He scrolled down. "Routing number, new bank. Change confirmed," he murmured. Then he added quietly, like he hated saying it, "It's been going to the same account every week." My mouth went dry. So, someone's been getting paid in my name. Devin's eyes flicked to my face, then back to the screen. "Yeah," he said. "That's what it looks like." I gripped the edge of the counter so my hands wouldn't shake. "Can you switch it back?" I asked. Devin exhaled. "I can lock your payroll profile and restore it, but we need to document how it happened. Otherwise, whoever did it can try again." "Okay," I said. "How did it happen?" Devin clicked into the change log, and a little box popped up with the words that made my chest tighten. "Change requested via email." I blinked. "Email?" Devin nodded. "We got a request from you with a voided check attached." I felt my voice go flat. "I didn't send that." Devin didn't look surprised. He looked annoyed, like he'd seen this movie before and hated the ending. "I'm going to pull the request," he said. "Give me a second." He opened a ticketing system, searched my employee ID and clicked a link. Or a copy of an email appeared on his screen. Subject line, "Direct deposit update, urgent." My name was on it. My signature block was on it. Even the way the sentences were written looked close enough that someone skimming would buy it. But the attachment? A voided check from a bank I've never used. Devin looked at me. "That's not your bank, right?" "No," I said. He scrolled to the bottom of the email and tapped the line where the sender address appeared. "But it came from your email," he said slowly. "Or at least, it looked like it did." My stomach sank, because that meant one of two things. Someone spoofed me, or someone had access to my account. I swallowed hard. "Can you tell who requested it?" Devin nodded once. "That's the question we always ask." He moved his mouse and clicked, "View message details." A panel opened with technical-looking lines Devin clearly understood better than I did. He didn't lecture. No, he just scanned until he found what he needed. Then his face changed. He stopped typing. He looked up at me like he was deciding how to say it. "What?" I asked. Devin turned the monitor a little more toward me and pointed at one line, "Originating IP/device location." And next to it was a city name I knew too well, because it was where my sister lived. Devin's voice dropped. "Aaron?" he said quietly. "This request didn't come from your office computer. It came from there." For a second, I just sat there, staring at the city name on Devin's screen like it might be a coincidence if I blinked hard enough. It wasn't. That was my sister's town. Devin lowered his voice. "Okay, first thing. Your payroll profile gets locked. Nobody changes anything until we know what happened." He clicked through a few menus and a red banner popped up. "Direct deposit changes disabled. Security hold." He turned the monitor slightly so I could see it, like he wanted me to feel something solid again. "Second," he said, "we switch your next check back to your real account. Third, we document the trail." I swallowed. What about the checks that already went to her? Devin didn't sugarcoat it. We can't just yank money back with a button, but we can do an ACH trace and request a return, and we can get you paid while the investigation runs." I stared at him. "You can do that?" He nodded once. "If this is fraud, we don't make employees go broke while we argue, but I need my manager." He stood and walked to a back office. Through the glass, I saw him talking to a woman with a tight bun and a face that said she'd been cleaning up corporate messes since before I got braces. And a minute later, she came out and introduced herself. "Carmen," she said, "payroll supervisor." She didn't smile, but she wasn't cold either. She was focused. "Aaron," she said, "Devin tells me you didn't request a direct deposit change." "I didn't," I said. "And the request came from my email, apparently." Carmen nodded, already thinking 3 steps ahead. "Okay," she said. 2 tracks. We fix your pay, and we investigate the breach." She pointed at Devin's screen. "Show me the message details again." Devin clicked back into the email record. Carmen scanned the header lines like she spoke that language fluently. Then she asked the question I didn't even know to ask. Did our system log a portal change? Or was this processed manually from email? Devin answered quietly. Manually. Carmen's jaw tightened. Of course it was. She looked at me. Quick context. Last month we had an issue with the employee portal. So we temporarily allowed direct deposit changes by verified email request. Verified. That word made me almost laugh, because clearly it wasn't verified the way it should have been. Carmen held up a finger. Don't panic. That policy is exactly why we can fix this. She turned to Devin. Pull the change ticket. I want the audit trail. Devin clicked, and a ticket window popped up. Request type, direct deposit update. Submitted 4 weeks ago. Approved by Payroll Specialist Attachments, voided check. Carmen pointed at the approver line. Who processed it? Devin's eyes flicked to the name, then away like he didn't love what he was about to say. Someone on the team, he said carefully. Carmen nodded. No blame yet, just facts. All right, she said. We'll handle that internally. Aaron, do you have access to your email right now? Yes, I said. Open it, she said. When we need to know if your account was compromised or spoofed. I pulled up my inbox. Nothing obvious. No, your password was changed email. No weird login alert. Just normal life, which somehow felt worse. Carmen leaned in. Check your sent folder. My stomach tightened. I tapped sent, and there it was, an email I never wrote. Subject, direct deposit update. Urgent sent, 4 weeks ago. Attachment, voided_check.pdf. My mouth went dry. That's not me, I whispered. Carmen's eyes narrowed. Why, if it's in your sent folder, it wasn't just spoofed. That's access. Devin made a small sound under his breath, like he was already thinking. We need IT. Carmen picked up her desk phone and dialed without looking away from the screen. IT security, she said when someone answered. I need someone in payroll now. We have a confirmed payroll diversion and employee email compromise. Confirmed. That word snapped everything into a new category. This wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. It was a case. While we waited, Carmen turned back to me. Aaron, I'm going to reissue your missing pay, she said. Today we start the process. You'll get a paper check if needed while we lock this down. My throat tightened. Thank you. She nodded once. Also, we're filing an ACH trace on every diverted deposit. The bank on the other end will get a return request. Devin added, and we'll stop the next deposit from going out to that account. I sat there trying to breathe like a normal person. Then Carmen asked the question that hurt. Your sister, she said carefully. How would she have access to your email? I didn't answer right away because the answer was embarrassing in the way only family can be. A few months ago, I'd helped her for a weekend. She'd been between places. She'd slept on my couch. And at some point, I'd let her use my laptop to print something because she said her phone was dying. I remembered her tapping around, laughing at something on the screen, acting like she was harmless. I remembered thinking, at least we're being civil again. I looked up at Carmen. I think she got into my email from my laptop, I said quietly, when she stayed with me. Devin's face tightened like he'd heard that exact story from other people. Carmen didn't judge. She just nodded. And that's enough, she said. We can work with that. Right then, a man in a plain button-down walked up, badge clipped to his belt. Noah, IT security, he said. Who's the employee? I raised my hand slightly. Noah didn't waste time. Aaron, I'm going to check sign-in logs, forwarding rules, and any mailbox access from unfamiliar devices, he said. Carmen, can you give me the timestamp of the direct deposit change request? Devin slid the ticket over. When Noah photographed the screen with his phone like it was evidence, because it was. Noah's fingers moved fast on his laptop. Okay, he murmured. Here we go. He paused, then looked up. Your email was accessed from an iPhone you don't own, he said, and it set a forwarding rule. My skin went cold. A forwarding rule? I asked. Noah nodded. It auto-forwarded messages with keywords like payroll and direct deposit to another address. Carmen's eyes narrowed. So she made sure Aaron wouldn't see the confirmations. Exactly. Noah clicked again, and his face went still. I can see the forwarding address, he said. I swallowed hard. What is it? He turned his screen toward Carmen first. Carmen read it, then looked at me. Her voice dropped. It's your sister's email, she said. I felt my pulse in my throat, because that meant this wasn't sloppy. This was planned. Carmen leaned forward, voice controlled. Okay, she said. Now we have 3 things: diversion, access, and intent. Noah added, and I can preserve these logs for law enforcement. Devin looked at Carmen. Do we notify HR? Carmen nodded. Now. Then she looked at me, steady. Aaron, she said, we're going to get your pay fixed. But I need you to understand something. Your sister didn't accidentally end up with your money. She built a pipeline. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from my sister. Stop poking around. I just let it go. I stared at it for half a second. Then I showed it to Carmen. She didn't react emotionally. She just said, "Save that." And Noah, still looking at his laptop, said quietly, "Also, the account that received your paychecks, it was added to your payroll file with a voided check PDF." He clicked into the attachment metadata. Then he paused. "Aaron," he said, "that PDF was created on your laptop." My stomach flipped, because it meant she didn't just steal money. She used my own device to manufacture the tool that stole it. Noah's cursor hovered over one more line, and then he said, "One more thing." He looked up at Carmen. "That laptop has a device name in our network records." Carmen's eyes narrowed. "What's it named?" Noah read it, and the name wasn't something I'd ever typed. It was something my sister would, because it was a joke she'd made about me my whole life. Noah looked at me carefully. "Aaron," he said, I think she wasn't just inside your email. I think she was inside your life." That stupid laptop name kept echoing in my head while Noah worked. Not because it was clever, because it was familiar. The kind of little jab my sister, Sloane, had been throwing at me since we were teenagers. Cute in a family group chat way, until you see it sitting inside a security log. Carmen didn't let the room drift into shock. She moved it into motion. "Okay," she said, already standing. "And we're pulling in HR and legal. Devin, freeze all direct deposit changes for Aaron's profile until further notice. Noah, preserve the email logs, forwarding rule and device access. I want that packaged clean." Devin nodded and clicked a few more things. A new banner appeared on his screen. Payroll account locked. Changes require in-person verification. It wasn't poetic, but it made my shoulders drop a fraction. And Carmen walked me down the hallway like she was escorting me out of a burning building without making a show of it. HR was 2 doors down, a small conference room with a glass wall and those chairs that look comfortable until you sit in them. Inside were 2 people I'd never met. Daria, HR manager, calm eyes, no nonsense. Miles, someone from legal who looked like he lived on black coffee and deadlines. Carmen didn't dramatize anything. She gave them the clean version. "Payroll diversion," she said. "Employee email accessed. Direct deposit changed manually by email. Forwarding rule set to sister's address. 4 paychecks diverted." Daria's face tightened. Miles didn't react much, but he leaned forward. "How much?" he asked. Carmen glanced at Devin's printout. "Just under 14,000 total." I felt that number land in my chest like a weight I'd been carrying without knowing it had a name. Miles nodded once. "Okay. Aaron, we're going to get you paid. Then we're going to build a file that holds up." Daria turned to me. "Are you safe at home?" she asked. It caught me off guard. "Safe?" She didn't sugarcoat it. "If someone will steal your paycheck, they'll try other angles too," she said. "Credit, accounts, benefits. We need to assume she didn't stop at payroll." Noah nodded. "That's usually how it goes." Miles slid a form across the table. "This is internal," he said, "but I also want you to file an external report today. A police report for theft/identity fraud and a report with your bank. We're not doing this to be dramatic. We're doing it because banks move faster when there's a case number." I swallowed. Will this actually get my money back? Carmen didn't promise miracles. She promised steps. "Here's the plan," she said, counting on her fingers. 1, off-cycle payday day so you're not waiting another 2 weeks. 2, we file return requests on every diverted deposit. Or 3, we contact the receiving bank with our logs and request they freeze the destination account. Daria looked at me. And 4, we make sure this can't happen again. Noah slid his laptop toward me just enough to show a simple summary. No tech soup. Your email was accessed from a device you don't recognize. A rule forwarded payroll emails to Sloane. The direct deposit request was sent from your mailbox. The attached voided check PDF was created on your laptop. Miles nodded. That's strong. Then Carmen said the one thing that turned my stomach again. We still need to know where the money went, she said. Devin had followed us into the room with a printout. He placed it on the table. Receiving bank shows as an online bank, he said. Account name on file is Aaron Lane. I blinked. It's in my name? Noah's face tightened. That would explain why payroll accepted it without raising flags. Daria leaned forward. Wait, so she didn't just redirect pay to her personal account? She opened an account under your identity, Miles said quietly. The room went silent, not the dramatic kind. The, oh, this just escalated kind. Carmen didn't let it sit. Devin, call the receiving bank's fraud line, she said. Speaker. Devin dialed, a recorded menu, a hold. Then a woman answered, professional and cautious. Fraud department. Miles introduced himself with the kind of calm that makes people take you seriously. We're counsel for the employer, he said. We have confirmed payroll diversion into an account opened under our employee's name. We need an immediate freeze and the account opening details preserved. The fraud rep asked for the account number. Devin read it, keyboard clicking on the other end. Then the rep paused. I see the account, she said. It was opened online. Miles kept it clean. What contact information is on file? Another pause. Then she said, the phone number ends in 7719. My chest tightened. I knew that number, Sloane's number. Daria's eyes flicked to me. Is that her? And I nodded once. The fraud rep continued. And the mailing address is... She read it out. Sloane's address. Miles didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. So the account is in Aaron's name, he said, but it uses Ms. Lane's sister's phone number and address. Yes, the rep said carefully. Carmen exhaled, sharp and controlled. Freeze it. The rep hesitated. We can place a temporary hold, but we'll need a police report number for a full fraud claim workflow. Miles nodded as if he expected that. You'll have it today. Then the rep added something that made my skin prickle. There were transfers out of the account, she said. Multiple. Over the last month. I felt my throat tighten. Carmen leaned toward the speaker. How much remains? About $900, the rep replied. $900. Out of a month of my life. Daria's mouth tightened. So she drained it. Miles didn't let it become a lament. Still freeze it, he said. We want the transaction history preserved. The rep agreed. Hold placed. Fraud case opened pending police report. Devin hung up and looked at me like he was sorry he lived in a world where this was normal. Carmen turned her laptop toward me and showed an email she'd just drafted. The subject line, off-cycle payment approved. You'll have your pay today, she said. Not all of it yet, but enough to stop the bleeding. That was the mini payoff my body needed. I didn't even realize how much I'd been bracing until that moment. Then Noah cleared his throat. One more thing, he said. Everyone turned toward him. He pointed at a line on his screen. When your email forwarding was set up, he said, the recovery phone number on your email account was also changed. I felt cold again. To what? Noah didn't make it dramatic. To the same number, he said. 7719. Sloane. Daria said, so even if you tried to reset your own password... Noah nodded. It would have gone to her. Miles looked at me. This is why we don't just fix payroll. We lock your identity back down. Carmen stood. Aaron, I'm walking you through resets right now. Noah's going to remove that forwarding rule and force sign-out everywhere. Devin added quietly, and we're adding a second verification step for any future direct deposit change. No more email-only approvals. I nodded, trying to keep my breathing normal. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Sloane. You really went to payroll? That's cute. Drop it. My jaw tightened. I showed it to Miles. He didn't react with outrage. He reacted like a person labeling a file tab. "That," he said, "Daria's consciousness of guilt." Then Daria's phone rang. She listened for a second, then her eyes lifted to Carmen. "It's the payroll specialist who approved the change," she said quietly. "She says she got confirmation from Aaron." My stomach turned. "From me?" Daria nodded slowly. "From a phone call." Noah's eyes narrowed. "To what number did she call?" Daria looked at her screen. "Aaron's number on file," she said. Then stopped, because she realized the same thing I did. If Sloan changed my direct deposit, she probably changed my contact number in the payroll profile too. Daria looked up at me. "Aaron," she said carefully, "has your phone number changed in the system recently?" I stared at her, and then Carmen's face hardened. "Pull the profile," she said to Devin. "Right now." Devin clicked, scrolled, stopped. He looked up, and his expression said it all. "The phone number on Aaron's payroll profile," he said slowly. "That was not Aaron's." Daria's mouth tightened. "It's 7719, Devin finished. "Sloan's number." And right then, the room stopped being "fix payroll." It became, "She impersonated you inside our systems." Miles stood and said one sentence, calm as a door locking. "Okay, now we're not just getting your money back. We're getting her." By 3:12 p.m., I had a paper check in my hand. Carmen had it overnighted from accounting, like she was yanking me off a cliff by my collar. My name printed clean. Real amount. Real signature. No, it'll show up eventually. No, wait for next cycle. Just money that kept my lights on. I was still staring at it when Devin's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and mouthed, "Again." Then he put it on speaker. "Payroll," he said. A woman's voice came through, too cheerful, too rehearsed. "Hi, this is Erin Lane," she said. "I need to update my direct deposit again. The bank flagged my account. I need it fixed today." My blood went cold, because that wasn't me, and I didn't need the voice to know it. It was Sloan. Devin looked at Carmen. Carmen didn't look surprised. She looked ready. "Sure," Devin said calmly, like he was talking to any employee. "Before we do anything, can you confirm your employee ID and the last four of your social?" The voice hesitated. Then she rattled off numbers. Half right. Close enough to fool someone who was busy. Not close enough for Carmen. Carmen leaned in toward the speaker. I still calm. "Erin," she said, "what's the name of the bank we deposit into now?" A tiny pause. Then Sloan took a wild guess. "Chase." Carmen didn't blink. "Wrong," she said. Devin clicked something on his computer and nodded to Noah, who was already typing. The voice sharpened. "Why are you being difficult?" Sloan snapped. "Just change it. It's my paycheck." My head turned so fast I almost hurt my neck. My paycheck. She didn't even realize what she'd said. Now Carmen held up a finger to me. "Let her keep talking." Devin kept his tone boring on purpose. "Erin," he said, "we can't process changes over the phone anymore. New policy. You'll need to come in with ID." Sloan laughed, tight and mean. "I'm not coming in," she said. "Just do it like you did last time." That line made Noah look up from his laptop, because last time wasn't a mistake. It was a repeat. Miles, who'd been quiet for 10 minutes, opened a notepad and wrote one sentence. I then slid it toward Carmen. "You just admitted prior processing." Carmen nodded once and spoke into the phone, calm as a receipt. "Erin," she said, "this call is being documented for payroll security. Do you understand that?" Sloan hesitated. Then she did what she always does when she thinks fear will fix things. "If you don't change it," she said, voice dropping, "I'll call your boss and tell him Erin is stealing. I'll get her fired." Devin's face tightened. Daria's eyes narrowed. So Carmen didn't rise to it. She just asked the simplest question in the world. "Who are you?" Silence. Then Sloan snapped, Her sister. Carmen nodded once, like that completed a puzzle. "Thank you," she said, and Devin ended the call. The room went quiet for half a second. Then Noah turned his laptop toward Miles. "I've got the call metadata," Noah said. "Caller ID matches the number on Aaron's payroll profile. The same number we just discovered wasn't mine. Sloane's number. A Miles exhaled once, controlled. So she changed the phone number," he said, then used it to verify future requests. Carmen nodded. "Exactly." Noah clicked into another window. "And," he added, "while she was on the phone, her email tried to hit your inbox again." He pointed at the screen. A fresh entry. "Login attempt blocked. Recovery code sent to 7719. Daria said one word. Flat. Wow. Carmen didn't let it become a moment. "Police report," she said, looking at Miles. "To now." Miles already had his phone out. He dialed, gave the facts clean, and within minutes we had a case number. He wrote it on the whiteboard like it mattered, because it did. Then he called the receiving bank back, gave the case number, and requested the full transaction history. This time, the fraud rep didn't hesitate. "Case number received," she said. "Hold remains. We'll send the outbound transfer list to the email on file." When the email arrived, Noah printed it. Devin stapled it. Carmen laid it on the table like the final card in a bad magic trick. I looked down and felt my stomach flip again, because the transfers weren't random. They weren't cash withdrawals that disappear into smoke. They had destinations. One line jumped off the page. Transfer out. $3,200. Credit card payment. Sloan M. Another. Transfer out. $1,950. Rent payment portal. S. Martin. Her last name. Her world. Her life being funded by my work. Miles tapped the page once. "That's the link," he said. "Not just the money went somewhere. The money went to her." Daria looked at me, voice softer. "Aaron," she said, "did she ever have permission to pay her bills with your money?" I didn't even have to think. "No," I said. "Never." Carmen nodded and slid the printed list into a new folder with a label. Payroll diversion. Evidence packet. Then she added the pieces, or one after the other. The email request from my sent folder, the forwarding rule screenshot. Noah captured the audit log showing the payroll phone number, changed the bank's transaction list tying the money to Sloan Devin, stapled the last page, and said quietly, almost to himself, "She really thought nobody would check." Carmen's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, then looked up at me. "You're going to hate this," she said. "What?" I asked. Carmen turned the screen toward Noah. New alert. Direct deposit change. Request. New email received. Noah's eyes narrowed. He clicked. The request wasn't from my email this time. It was from a brand new address with my name in it, but slightly misspelled, and the message was short, confident, and stupid. "Need payroll changed ASAP. Same account as before. Don't delay." Carmen stared at it for one beat. Then she smiled, just barely. "Good," she said. "She's getting sloppy." Miles looked at Noah. Can you trace it?" he asked. Noah nodded, and after a few clicks, he read a location line out loud. Not my city, not my office, Sloan's neighborhood. Devin exhaled. "So she's still trying. Right now." Carmen closed the folder and stood. "Okay," she said. "We have enough for law enforcement and we have enough to protect you." Daria looked at me. "Do you want security to walk you to your car today?" I nodded. "Yes." Because after this, I didn't trust what my sister would do when she realized the pipeline was cut. As we stood up, Miles's phone rang. He listened for 2 seconds, then his eyes lifted. "It's the detective," he said. He put it on speaker. A man's voice came through, calm and direct. "Ms. Lane," he said, "we traced the fraudulent account and the inbound payroll deposits. We also have enough to request preservation from the receiving bank." He paused. "Why, and we'd like you to come in today to sign a statement because we're planning to contact your sister." My pulse spiked. Not because I was scared of the police, because I knew exactly what Sloan would do when she felt cornered. The detective added one more sentence, quiet but heavy. "And based on the transfers we're seeing, she didn't just take your pay. She used it to pay for things in her own name." The room went very still. Carmen looked at me and said, "Lo, that's not just messy. That's provable." By 5:40 p.m., I was sitting in a small interview room at the precinct with a paper cup of water I didn't want and a pen that kept slipping in my fingers. Detective Harlan didn't waste time. He didn't do the "tell me about your childhood" thing. He slid one form across the table and spoke like a person who'd already seen the whole trail. "This statement locks your story to a timestamp," he said. "No, and it matches what we already pulled. Payroll diversion, email compromise, identity account, transfers out." I signed. Then he slid a second page over, clean and simple. "Case number," printed at the top. "This is what banks respond to," he said. "This is what payroll responds to. This is what stops her from calling it a family misunderstanding." I nodded, staring at the number like it was a seatbelt. Detective Harlan leaned back. "Here's what happens next," he said. We're contacting the receiving bank for preservation. We're contacting your employer for records. And we're contacting your sister." My chest tightened. "Tonight?" He nodded once. "Tonight?" Because the longer you wait, the more people delete things and pretend they don't remember. He stood up, paused at the door, and added something that made my stomach drop and unclench at the same time. "And Aaron, your payroll team did this right. They locked the profile, documented everything. Why, and stopped the next deposit. That matters." I left the precinct with my copy of the report and drove home like my nervous system was still stuck at incoming threat. Daria from HR called me on the way. "I wanted you to hear it from me," she said. "We issued your off-cycle check. We're also issuing the remainder as a company advance while the bank dispute runs." I swallowed hard. "Thank you." "We're not letting you drown because someone committed fraud," she said. "Well, also, new policy effective immediately. No direct deposit changes by email or phone. In-person verification only." That was my first real door closing. Not emotional, procedural. The kind that actually sticks. When I got home, I didn't sit down. I changed every password again. Email, banking, payroll portal, then removed every device I didn't recognize. Noah from IT had already forced sign-outs and killed the forwarding rule, but I needed to see it with my own eyes. No forwarding. And no unknown devices. Recovery number restored. For the first time in weeks, my own email felt like mine. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, expecting the detective. It was my sister. Sloane's voice was softer now, careful. "You really went to the police," she said. I didn't shout. I didn't lecture. I asked one question. "Why did you do it?" I said. She exhaled like she was offended I'd ask. "Because you always act like you're better than me," she snapped. "And you always have this stable little life." Stable. Like stability was something I'd stolen from her. And then she said the part that told me everything. I was going to put it back. I stared at the wall. "You drained the account," I said. "There's 900 left." Silence. Then she tried to pivot into anger. "I needed it," she hissed. "You wouldn't have helped me." I let the quiet hang for a second, then said, plain, "You didn't ask. You impersonated me." Her voice turned sharp. "Oh, don't act like I'm some criminal." I didn't even have to answer that, because right then, another call beeped in. Detective Harlan. I switched over. "Stay on," he said. "Don't hang up." My chest tightened. "What's happening?" His voice stayed calm. "We just made contact with her," he said. "She's denying. But we have the employer logs, the bank trail, and the phone number tie. We're seizing her device under a preservation request." I stared at my phone like it might burst into flames. On the other line, Sloan snapped, "Who are you talking to?" I didn't say a word. Detective Harlan stayed in my ear. "And Erin," he added, "tell her to stop calling you. This is now an open case." I switched back. "Sloan," I said, "stop calling me." She laughed once, tight and ugly. "You think you're so tough," she said. "You won't do anything." I didn't answer, because a moment later, her voice changed mid-sentence, like someone had walked into her room. "What?" she started. Or a man's voice in the background, firm and professional. "Ma'am, we need your phone." Sloane's breath caught. "No," she snapped. "This is private." "Phone," the voice repeated. Then another sound, soft, plastic, final, like something being sealed. Sloane's voice went thin. "This is insane," she whispered. And then the line went dead. 2 days later, the receiving bank emailed me a fraud packet request, not a paragraph of sympathy, a checklist, police report number, employer letter, an identity affidavit. Miles from legal walked me through it like we were building a file, not a revenge story. "We're doing this so the bank can reverse what's reversible," he said, "and so she can't claim you authorized it." That afternoon, the bank confirmed 3 things in writing. The fraudulent account was frozen and flagged. The transaction history was preserved for investigators. A dispute was opened for the payroll deposits. A week later, my employer got a formal notice back from the receiving bank. ACH return accepted, partial recovery in process. It wasn't all the money. She'd already pushed most of it out, but it wasn't nothing either. And the important part? It proved the system agreed it was fraud. Then came the part people always ask about, the part that has to land. What happened to my sister? Here's what happened. Formal. Detective Harlan called me with an update and a file number. Sloan was being charged for identity-related fraud tied to the account opening and the diverted deposits. I didn't get a dramatic speech, just a case update and a court date. Practical. My company recovered part of the diverted deposits through returns and credited the remainder through the payroll correction process. My rent didn't bounce. My lights stayed on. My bank account stopped being a horror story. Door closed. HR issued a written directive that any future payroll change requires in-person verification with ID, and IT placed a permanent security flag on my employee profile. I also filed a no-contact order request after Sloan tried calling from a different number again, because I'm not doing round 2. And the last thing, the thing that made my hands finally stop shaking when I checked my balance, a plain email from payroll. Subject line, direct deposit restored. Verified. Locked, no poetry. Just safety. I still have the text she sent me. Drop it. I keep it saved for the same reason I keep my case number saved, because the truth isn't a feeling, it's a trail. And this time, her trail didn't disappear into my name. It circled back to hers.